TolaData, the monitoring and evaluation platform for not-for-profit organizations. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration of our end-to-end indicator management workflow. This is everything from the collection of data in the field, whether that's digital data collection, paper-based collection, or perhaps in spreadsheets or Excel forms. Managing your data, importing it into the platform, organizing and storing it. Tracking your progress on indicator plans and monitoring your results versus targets. And finally, visualizing and sharing those results so you can report your impact to managers and other stakeholders. So this is TolaData. We're looking here at the list of programs that my organization has. A program to TolaData is a piece of work that has a unique set of indicators or a results framework or log frame. Your organization can customize the platform to call this whatever is relevant to how you work. Perhaps you'll call that a project or a grant or an aim or an objective. When you create a program, you can click on its name and open it and see a range of more detailed information. So here I can see the countries where this program has been implemented, the start and end date. I can see the specific project sites and I can drill in to see more detail on this map. I can also see lists of stakeholders and who we're working with. And finally, this is also where I determine which other users of TolaData I want to have access to this program. And this is a way that as an admin, I can control the permissions so that users can only see the programs that they are working on. Once I create a program, I can then get involved in the other great features that TolaData has. Looking down this left-hand navigation panel, you can see under Program the different sections that I have. I'm going to focus on indicators today, so let's click on indicators and go to that section. So you can see we're still within that humanitarian health program. I could click on this drop-down to move to a different program if I wanted to, but I'm going to just stay within that program for now. What I'm looking at here is the indicator plan for the humanitarian health program. Now, there's two parts to the indicator section. There's the indicator plan we're looking at right now, and there's also the results framework. Let's quickly have a look at the results framework. The results framework is a visualization of the log frame or the logic of your project. It shows how your activities or outputs lead to your outcomes, results, and objectives towards the overall goals of your program. Our results framework is very modular. You can create as many levels as you want with as many results for each level, and you can name them according to what's relevant for your program. All I have to do is click on the plus symbol. I can add another goal. I could add a description if I want, give it a color and click submit. And you can see that that goal just adds to the side. I can add another level underneath it. Maybe I'm going to call this an objective and click submit, and that appears underneath it. And so you can get the idea of how I can very quickly build out the tree with as many levels as I want, naming them however I want. And I can also easily delete those levels if I need to by just clicking on that. The great thing with the results framework is that firstly, it gives a way to communicate the logic of your program to the wider project team. But it also helps you to organize your indicator plan. So I'm going to click back into my indicator plan here. And now you might notice that the headings of this indicator plan actually match the result levels that I had in my results framework. And those two that I added, the goal number 2 and outcome number 2, have appeared on that list. So when I add indicators, I can now organize them according to the results framework. If I chose not to have a results framework, that's also okay, and I could just have a list of indicators that would be listed here under non-classified indicators. Adding new indicators is really easy. You'll notice throughout TolaData that these green buttons are always a sign that this is an opportunity for you to add something to the page. So if I click here on Add New Indicator, I can add an indicator that's the demos done by Joe. I decide if it's going to be numeric or percentage. In this case, it's numeric. I say if it's increasing or decreasing. Many indicators are increasing, but as an example, if I was trying to reduce maternal mortality rates, I would choose decreasing because I'm trying to get my overall result to go down. I put in a life of program target. Let's say I'm trying to do 1,000 demos, a baseline if I have one, click save, and there's that indicator appeared there. I can also drag and drop that indicator to organize it and move it into the relevant section of my plan. If I want to, I can click on the name of the indicator and I can open it up and I can add some more information. So I can add notes, I can mark it as a KPI. I can also add information about targets and disaggregations. So I can edit that life of program target and baseline I put in. I can say what my unit of measure is. I can select a data collection frequency. And I can add disaggregations. Now here we have a standard disaggregation for my organization that's gender. So this automatically appears on all the indicators that are created in my organization. Doesn't mean I have to count gender, it just saves me having to add it every time. I'm going to add a special disaggregation for this particular indicator, and that's the type of demo that I've done. So not only do I want to count the demos, I also want to know what type of demo it was. I select the availability. So this particular disaggregation is really only relevant to this indicator. So I'll say this indicator only. And then I say, what are the types I want to disaggregate by? So let's say face-to-face, online, and one more, conference. And click save. And there's my new disaggregation that I can track my results by. Click save. And there I'm back in my plan. And it's that easy to create your indicator plan. Once you have an indicator plan as a manager or an M&E officer, this would be where you come day to day to see what the latest results are. And here on the right-hand side, I can see my targets in black with my results to date in blue. So as an example, here the percentage of injured community members who make a full recovery, my target is an 85% recovery rate. And so far in my project to date, we're achieving a 67% recovery rate. So of course your next question is, how do I add those results to see those blue actual results to date? And for that, let's go down to this indicator here of the number of vaccines administered to children. So I'm going to click on the name of that indicator and open it again. Now I'm going to go to this last tab, collected data. And on this tab, I can see all the data that has been reported for this indicator so far. So these are all the vaccinations that have been reported as administered for this particular indicator. So there's two ways that I can add new data. The first way is just to manually enter it. So to do that, click Add New Collected Data. I'm on manual entry, and perhaps someone has sent me this result by email. So I might say, I was told that 54 vaccinations were given last week. I enter a collection date, so I'll say up until the 3rd of May was this the relevant period for this particular value. I can say what site it came from, so maybe that's from a project site of the medical center in Lebanon. I can add a link to a file in a cloud file server, so we've integrated with Google Drive here, but we also integrate with other cloud file servers like MS OneDrive. And lastly, I can add some notes. So I might say reported by email. I can then add my disaggregation. So if I click on Add Disaggregation, I select the disaggregation type, and let's actually choose vaccine type for this. My disaggregations are either measles or polio. So I might say that of those 54, 24 were measles, 30 were polio, and then I click Save. And there you can see that new result appears up the top there, and my results go up by 54. So that's the quick way that I can enter results. And if I have results that are paper-based and not machine readable, then I can add them like that. But of course, if you have machine readable results or digital results, what's really interesting is to get TolaData to do the calculations for you. So to show you how to do that, I'm first going to take you to our data management hub. So if you look again down this left-hand panel, I'm just going to click on data tables and take you into that section. So TolaData can import data from any machine readable source. And to do that, we just click on Import Table here, and you can see I can import from Kobo Toolbox or Owner, which are both digital data collection tools, Google Sheets, Excel in MS OneDrive, or CSV files. If I click on a CSV file, you can see it's very simple. I can just choose the file from my desktop say if it's delimited by commas or semicolons, and click Save. And then I will have added my new table. So all the tables that I've imported have appeared here. And if I click on the name of a table, I can open it up and see the data that's in that table. And there are all the columns. These vaccine records give me the region, staff name, the gender of the child who had the vaccination, the type of vaccination, and their age group. Once my data is imported, I'm actually going to go back to my indicator plan. So back here on my indicator plan, let's go down to that vaccinations indicator. Now I can jump straight to my collected data with this quick key by just clicking on this little symbol here. I've opened the indicator and I'm in the collected data tab. So again, I'm going to click Add New Collected Data, but this time instead of manual entry, I'm going to pull from a data table. You'll notice that my collected values cell grays out because this is going to automatically calculate. I still need to put my collection date, so let's say that we are doing results up to the end of April. I can add sites again if I want, and now this time I say which data table is going to give me my results. So if I have a look here, there's that list of all those data tables. Let's click on the one we were looking at, the vaccine records. Next, TolaData tells me what columns I can choose from. So I want to count the number of vaccines that were administered, so I'm going to choose the vaccine column, and then tell the system what to do with that column. It can either count the number of rows, do a sum, an average, or a median. So it all depends on the type of data you have. In our case, every row is a single vaccine. So let's count the number of rows, and it tells me my result is going to be 37. I can add a condition to that. So if I click here, I might say I only want to know the vaccines given in a certain region. So again, I select the column that I want to filter by. So let's choose the region column. And I say what I want to do, I want to only see where the region value is equal to south. And there you can see my result has updated to 7. Lastly, I can also add disaggregation data. So if I click on that, let's show the disaggregation by gender this time. So if I choose gender, again I say which column has my disaggregation information. That's the column on gender. And all I have to do is map my disaggregation types to the data that I have. So the disaggregation types I have are male and female. In my data set, they're actually F and M. So what I say is that male equals M and female equals F. And there I have my results. I click Save, and that new collected value has appeared up the top. And you can see there the evidence that shows me what table it came from, and also here I can see who added that result and the date that they added it. The last thing to show you here is just about how you get that actual result. So at the moment, that 540 is the sum of all of these individual results that have been posted. But again, depending on my type of indicator or the way that my data is formatted, I might want to get my result in a different way, and I can do that by changing this formula here. So instead of sum, I could take an average, for example, maybe on a percentage indicator, or if I was doing average household income. I can also take the last collection date if my data is cumulative. If I click on that, the last collected data that I had was for 37. That was the last reported date based on this date collected. Let's just go back and put it back to sum. And there we go, 540 vaccines out of our target of 1,500. So for you going day to day as a manager, now you can have those results on hand in near real time and see how the progress is and identify any issues that you might need to address. And of course, the other interesting thing for you to do is to visualize those results and share them with other managers. To do that, we're going to go to the dashboard section. I click on dashboards. So you can add as many dashboards as you want, and you can decide who's going to see those dashboards. You can add a dashboard that's just for yourself. You can add dashboards that you share with other users of TolaData, and you can add dashboards that you share with people external to TolaData, so maybe stakeholders and donors, or you can even embed your dashboard onto another website. To add a new dashboard, I just click Add New Dashboard here. I enter the name and click Save. And there I open up my dashboard. Currently it's a blank screen. And what I'm going to do is add widgets. So if I click Add a New Widget, the first widget I'm going to add to show you is a text and image widget. Very simple. I add a title, I put in any text that I want. I can add images if I'd like to, and just click Save. And there's that new widget with the text and the images, and I can size it and move it around as I want to. Let's resize that down a little bit there. I'm going to click on Add New Widget again, and this time I'm going to add a widget about my indicator results. So for indicators, we have 7 different types of visualizations you can do, a range of different charts. Let's just do a target versus actuals, a simple look at our progress against our targets. That's what the chart's going to look like. So the first thing I do is choose the program that I want to come from. So let's choose that humanitarian health program. And then I choose which indicators I'd like to visualize. I'm going to choose a few of those indicators that we had in that program. I can filter the data by a certain date range if I only want my results by a certain date. I can also add a custom title and description. I'm going to just leave those blank to show you what happens when I click Save without them. So there I have the type of chart I created, the name of the program. Here are my 3 indicators, and here I can see my target, 340, and my actuals to date, 193. These are also live results, so any updates that happen in my indicator plan will automatically update here in this chart. I can also move these widgets around to organize them in different ways. As you said, we can stretch them out and get the layout exactly as I want it to be. I'm going to just flip to another dashboard that I have that has a lot more charts in it, so you can see some of the other charts that we have. So there's that target versus actuals. The next one here I have shows disaggregation. So this is male and female disaggregation. Here I can see how many males for that result, how many females, if there's any unclassified results, so perhaps had some results that weren't disaggregated, all against my overall target. Moving down further, I have another visualization of a disaggregation that shows me the proportional disaggregations of the vaccine types that were administered. I can see percentage achieved to target. So this way I can compare a range of different indicators, whether they're percentage indicators, counting adults, counting people, counting medical kits, anything you want. And I can see how close I am to 100% achieved on all of those indicators. I can also look at my progress over time. So here I'm looking at the number of vaccines administered to children, and I'm seeing my cumulative results over time going up here. Or I can just see my results in time that are non-cumulative, so I can see how many vaccines were given on each collected data date. Lastly, I can see my percentage achieved over time, and this allows me to see my progress of a range of indicators if I wanted to. And I just have my vaccine indicator, but I can see how close it was. So at this stage, it was 22.07% towards 100% achieved of my target. And that's how I can create a dashboard that I can share with my managers and stakeholders or external users. The last thing that I want to show you is that when you're using TolaData, if you ever want some help or want some guidance, click on the yellow button down the bottom here. This guide opens a menu of different walkthroughs that can help you. So for example, if I wanted to design a results framework, if I click on that, it will take me to the results framework section of TolaData, and it will give me a step-by-step guide of how to design a results framework. And there you can see I can click through and it will tell me how to get to designing a results framework. If you'd like a live demo of TolaData, please feel free to get in touch at any time. We'd love to talk to you about your specific needs of your organization and your programs and how TolaData can help you achieve your results and report your impact.